We'll start this class with 5 more rounds of breath. So as you've landed, can you start to deepen your inhale? And a long exhale. Full inhale. Long exhale. A few more rounds. Almost like you're letting the dust settle. Let emotions, feelings, reminders, anything that's taking up space and energy, letting it just settle. And keeping in mind that what we resist persists. So oftentimes if there's something we're really trying to avoid thinking about, we almost can't not think about it. So instead, can you just acknowledge that it's taking up a lot of brain space or it's holding some physical discomfort for you, and just let it be. And throughout our movement practice, the intent, instead of to resist or to force, we find some middle ground that allows for some ease and some grace. And allowing that to be maybe your affirmation, coming back to the idea of ease, back to the idea of grace. And take one more round of deep breath, feeling all the way up to the top, chest rising, belly rising. A long exhale out. Nice. If you're seated, kind of meet me down on the back body. Drawing the knees in towards your chest, and find a gentle rocking side to side, hip to hip, shoulder to shoulder. You can stretch the legs up high to the sky, point, flex the feet, maybe roll at the ankles. And guide the knees back into your chest. Plant the left foot down. Cross the right ankle over the left knee. You're finding figure 4. So here I like to use my right hand to press the knee and the leg away from me, creating a little bit more space even between my shoulder and the leg. This might be enough, or maybe you sew the hands through, interlacing them behind hamstring, and drawing them in a bit closer. Coming back to your breath. Nice, and then land the foot, uncross, switch it up. Start with just pressing the left hand into the knee, creating some extra space there for yourself before drawing the leg in. And release. Nice job. Heel toe the feet towards the edges of your mat. Let's do a little bit more for the hips. Gently windshield wipe the knee side to side, and maybe you even cactus style the arms. So the elbows are resting down on the earth. You might start to draw the elbows up in line with the shoulders or slightly higher. Let the legs feel really heavy. One more time, right side to left side and center. Good. Draw the knees in. You can rock and roll forward and back a few times or just roll over onto the side. We'll come and meet in tabletop. Mindful of your stance, so press down on all 10 fingers, all 10 knuckles. Shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. You can peek around towards the right hip, find a curve in your spine. And peek around towards the other hip. And again. Good work. Stretch the right leg out long behind you. Toes can be pointed or flexed, that's up to you. You want your heel up in line with your hip. Zip the core in. Think about belly button hugging in towards the back of your spine. You're going to sweep the right leg over towards the left side as far over as you can, so much so that when you peek over your left shoulder, you can see the right leg. Good, and then lay on the toes just to tap the mat all the way up, back through the center. Good, then we'll do that again. Cross it all the way over the body, over the shoulder, tap the toes, back to center. One more time, reach it over, tap, and switch. Left leg out long, up in line with the hips, zip the core in, breathe in, cross it over, peek over your right shoulder, and center. Two more. Think about creating a nice long line all through that left side here. And center. Beautiful. Cat-cows. Drop the belly down, lift your gaze. Keep a bit of a micro bend in your elbows here, tailbone high. On the exhale, press the air out as you round through, hollow out your belly. Inhale, float forward. Exhaling to round. Inhaling. And exhaling. A couple more times. Each time finding a little more space available. And then meet me in a neutral spine, flat back. Come down to the forearms. So elbows are beneath your shoulders. Step the legs back. You're in forearm plank. Can you hold it for a breath? Zip up, keep those hips up in line with the shoulders. Don't let them dip too low. And then softly lower the knees. And then lift them back up. Soften the knees. Lift them up. Feel that core have to hug in and engage. Lift and soften. 3 more. The next time the knees soften, they can stay there. Let your hips roll down onto the earth. Peel the chest up. Sphinx pose. Shoulders are back. Space across collarbones. But mindful here, you're not craning the neck back. It's still, gaze is still straight ahead, so that the head is still in line with the rest of the spine. Soften down to earth. Glide the palms down beneath your shoulders this time. Baby cobra. Little back bend. Exhaling. Inhale, peel up all the way, upward dog. Working to eventually hover hips off the earth. Flip your toes. In our first downward facing dog. Now, because this is your first down dog, feel free to invite in some extra movement. So you can pedal up the feet more, take more space between the hips, more space between the feet, so they might be closer towards the edges of your mat. Maybe they're zipped together. I want you to really get a little playful here, a little curious. Start to acknowledge how the body's feeling. Where there might even just be simply resistance in the body, or maybe where you're forcing too much. Can you find that ease, that space in between? And it doesn't matter where your feet are, just start to tiptoe your way up to the front of your mat. Lift up about halfway. Soften down to the mat. Again, lifting up halfway. And soften. Roll up all the way, arms sweeping up high to the sky. Hands through the heart center. Again, sweep all the way up. Swan dive down. Halfway lift. Exhaling to soften. Roll up and reach, arms high. Hands to the heart center. Let's add on, bend your knees, sink into chair. Holding it here, let the hips sink down. And let it go, forward fold. Bend your knees, plant your palms, step back to plank. Hold it here. Start to rock just gently forward, a little more weight into your hands, and then rock back. Rock forward, feel more weight in hands, arm bones, and back. The next time you rock forward, lower through chaturanga, your tricep push-up. Peel up halfway or all the way, whichever you would prefer. And down dog. Where can you give yourself some grace? Perhaps it's something as simple as deepening your breath. Sweep the right leg high. Hold it here. Can you lift those toes an inch higher? Bend your knee, pull it in towards your nose, rounding through your spine as you do so. And sweep it all the way back up. Good. This next time, step the foot through quietly between your hands, back heel down. Sweep it up, warrior one. Good, adjust your stance. You don't want to be on a tightrope. Back toes are in a kitty corner. Front knees right over top of your ankle. Arms high. Can you let the gaze follow? And straighten your front knee. And sink back down. So mindful that when you're straightening, you're not locking the knee out. There's still that teeny tiny bend available. And sink down. Straighten. And sink. Inhale to straighten. On your exhale, you're going to hinge with the hips. Reach forward as far as you can reach, lowering the chest. And then bringing the hands either to rest on the shin or the quad, pyramid pose. Focusing on keeping the hips squared off here. Nice job. Now it doesn't matter where your hands are, shins or thighs. I want you to take the right hand, place it on your right hip. Long through your chest, you have the core hugged in. Start to turn and rotate towards the right, just slightly, doesn't have to be big. Back to center, bend your knee, reach it all the way up. Pivot the back toes, find warrior two. The warrior two is the longer stance, so feel free to take up more space on your mat. Really sinking into the front knee. Keep the arms outstretched and strong. And soften your shoulders. Elbow to knee, side angle pose. Gaze high. Hold it for one more breath. Try and be light on your arm. Pressing the right knee away from you. Look down at your foot. Plant the palms to the earth. Step back to plank. Vinyasa, so your push-up. Peel your chest up. And down dog. And so now you can always modify your vinyasa. You can soften the knees in your chaturanga push-up. Do a baby cobra. And then you can keep passing through tabletop to get through down dog. So always options. And draw the hips a little bit further back in space. Land back in your body if the mind has started to drift off. Left leg sweeping high. Now hold it there at the top. Think about shining your chest towards your shin and the toes piking a touch higher. Knee to nose, round through your spine. And up. Nice. Knee to nose, and then quietly step your foot through between your hands. Back heel down. Arms high, warrior one. So go through your checkpoints. You're not on a tightrope. Sinking into the front knee, so it's right on top of your ankle. Back towards your kitty corner. Steadying your breath. Straighten your knee. Remember, we keep that micro bend there. Sink back down. Straighten and sink. Few more. Straighten the knee, pause there, hinge and reach forward as far as you can. Reach, reach, reach. And bring the hands to shins or thighs. Squaring off your hips, so think about right hip pulling forward, left hip tucking in. Left hand to your hip. Line the shoulder open towards left side. Even just a little is fine. Back through the center, bend your knee, reach high, pivot open, warrior two. Head over, heart over, pelvis. So mindful, sometimes in our warrior two, we kind of tilt forward or we reach too far forward. Head over, heart over, pelvis. It's always a great way for me to check in and make sure that I'm still stacked. My alignment's still in place. Are you breathing? Elbow to knee, side angle. Let your hips sink in here. Sometimes resistance is, our way of being fearful or not sure, what our capacity is or how far we could go. Can you use your breath to help soften that resistance? Sometimes you have more capacity, more space, more flexibility even than you knew. Cartwheel hands to your mat. Move through your vinyasa. Remember, the modifications are always available. High on your heels, bend your knees, walk or hop to the front of your mat. Lifting up and out halfway. Exhaling down. Halfway lift again. Exhale down, roll up to standing, reach the arms up high. Heart center and right away sink into chair. Now that you're warmer, can you find even more depth in your pose? Good, we're gonna do figure four stand. So you're gonna start with the left leg. You're gonna keep the left leg nice and strong, firm, press those toes down and start to migrate more weight into the left leg. From there, you can lift the right foot up, cross it over on the knee. Feel free to use your hands to help assist with this. And then sink down deeper. Flex the foot in the air. Let the hips sink. Good. The lower you let your hips sink, the more of a shelf you create for the right leg. So it actually makes it easier. You're just asking the muscles to do a bit more work. Hands through to heart center. Can you maybe lower the elbows closer towards the knee and the foot? Big breath in. Big breath out. We're going to unwind and bring the right knee up to hip height. Good. And then a big step back, find warrior one. Once you land your feet, sweep the arms high, sink into your front knee. Deepen the breath. Inhale to straighten, exhale, hinge forward, right back into our pyramid pose. Moving back into our revolved triangle. So take your left hand to your hip, start to wind the shoulder back, twist open, and know that you can even have the right hand up on the side. Nice. This is a tricky pose because you have the hips squared up, you're doing a twist, you're already in a pyramid pose. It's a lot of things happening. One more breath. Good work. Unwind, sweep it up. And step to the front of your mat, shake it out. Good job. Meet me back in chair. And then we'll start to prep. So now all the weight's moving into the right foot. So feel the right toes press down, feel the weight migrate over into that leg. And then you can lift left foot up, cross it over, use your hands if you need to, slide the heel up the leg, sink it down. Hands through to heart center, maybe lowering the elbows. Bend your knee. Really nice. Unwind, hip height, send the foot back, warrior one. Sometimes that transition in itself is the trickiest part. Catch your breath. Straighten the knee, hinge and reach forward, pyramid pose. Hand to the right hip, roll the shoulder, twist open. And know if there's a lot of resistance, just draw the hand further up the leg. Beautiful. Unwind, lift it up, step forward, shake it out. So rinse it out with our sun salutation. Inhale to reach high. Exhale to let it all go. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your palms, hop or step back to plank. Vinyasa. Taking a nice full breath in your down dog. Exhale, soften. Let the knees come down to your mat, big toes together, sink your hips back, child's pose. Letting the breath start to slow down, allowing the body to start to cool. One more deep breath in. On your exhale, start to roll it up. We're going to come back into down dog. We're going to do a few deeper stretches from here. The first one's going to be a good one for the quad. So reach your right leg up, step it through. Keep your back heel up, sweep it up. So we're in what we have our crescent lunge normally. And then from here, it doesn't matter to me where your arms are. You You can have hands on the hips or at heart, whatever you'd like. You're gonna take your back knee, sink it down towards the earth, and then press the hip and the quad forward. And when you press forward, you're gonna kind of slightly start to lean back. You should feel a stretch through the quad. I want you to sink down if you need a deeper stretch. Breathing in, breathing out. Nice, and then straighten it up. One more time, sink it down. The second time when you're here, you're gonna cross the left arm over the body. Take the right hand, hug it in, just your traditional shoulder stretch. You might slightly let the left arm drop down just a touch. Normally we kind of keep the arm up in line with the shoulder. Sometimes drawing it down a few inches changes the sensation. Good, and then release, just step forward, give it a shake out. Switch sides, right leg back, find your crescent lunge to start so you have a strong foundation, you feel your balance, your stability. Sink down on your back knee. And then just get that feeling, especially if this is newer to you. As you're sinking down, you're pressing the hip and the quad forward. And when you do so, you're slightly leaning back, ever so slightly. Straighten up, big breath in. Exhale, sink. Now right arm over, cross it. Maybe dropping it down an inch or two if that feels good. Nice, and then straighten it up. Pivot all 10 toes to the long edge of your mat. You have a wide stance. Turn the heels in, toes out, so your toes are facing the corners of your mat. Bend your knees, sink down. Take the elbows to the inside of your knees. Press the elbows in. Feel stretch through the inner thighs. Length through your spine. Drop the hands down. Pike the hips up. Give the head a shake out, yes or no. You're in your wide leg forward fold. Sink deeply into the left knee, your knees tracking over those toes. And over into the right, sink so the knees track over the toes. Nice. One more time. Left side. Right side. Center, roll it up. Heel toe your feet together. Let's come all the way down onto our mats. Let's find a twist. Draw the right knee in, sit up tall. What's most important to me is that you have a nice tall lifted spine. Your heel doesn't need to be tucked right in close to you, it can be further away. Right arm high to the sky. Exhale, reach it back behind you. Imagine this right arm is almost like a second spine to support you, keeping you uplifted and tall. Gaze over the shoulder if that's accessible. Maybe let your eyes close. 3 good breaths. Unwind. Switch legs. Establish your tall spine first. Left arm overhead. Exhaling it back. Land back in your body. Nice. Unwind. We're going to come down onto the back body. If you have any props at home that we're going to provide you a bit of height, grab for it now. And come all the way down. And draw the knees in, relax your shoulders. Maybe a bit of a rock. And plant your feet down to the earth. Supported bridge. So you're going to take whatever prop you have handy. Lift the hips up, slide up beneath your sacrum, so that triangular bone at the base of your spine. Let the prop take the full weight. Relax your shoulders, relax your jaw, so space between your teeth. You could keep yourself here, just with the knees bent. Or you might lift the legs up, kick the feet high to the sky for a legs at the wall variation. So your choice, what would best suit your body's needs? What would allow you to land in that place of ease and grace? Not too much resistance, not too much force, just somewhere in between. Can you allow for that today? Keep your breath in mind, observing an inhale, observing an exhale. And 2 more rounds of breath and supported bridge. If your legs are in the air, start to bend your knees, plant the feet down. Move your prop off to the side. Let's head into happy baby. Big toes together, knees wide. You can glide the hands in towards the ankles maybe. Flex the feet and know that right here might be enough. Because when you're at the end of practice, the body's warmer, hopefully you're feeling a little more settled. You might have more space accessible for a fuller variation of happy baby, kicking the heels up. You might wrap the arms around the inside of the legs, reach towards the inner ankles, perhaps. There's no right or wrong. And if a little bit of movement happens organically, let it. Sometimes rocking is really soothing for the body. One more breath. And bend your knees, close your legs like a book. And then ask yourself what variation of Shavasana would best serve you. So you can have a prop beneath the knees. Maybe you take a prop beneath the head and the chest. Maybe it's just traditional In what ways can you make your space extra cozy and restful for these last moments of your practice? Allowing and affirming. And letting yourself rest here, knowing I'll guide us back in a moment's time. Beginning to deepen your breath. Aware of the resting state of your body and starting to reinvigorate with small, gentle movement. And perhaps a full body stretch or knees to chest. And rolling over onto your side body. And coming all the way up to meet me in seated. Once you're in seated, roll the shoulders up, back, and down. Rock side to side until you can find that nice rooted spine. Hands heart center, let the eyes slide closed. And we'll seal our practice with a collective breath. In through the nose. And letting it go. Thank you everyone so much for practicing with me. The highest in me sees the highest in you. Namaste.